Here we go, another week down. It's starting to get warmer out. Boys are outside playing basketball with their buddies and the neighbor kids. Spring's starting to show its face. Tomorrow is May. I am excited. It looks like it's going to be a warm week. I'm telling you what, I can sure use it. It's been a cold stretch of days. Cold, windy, rainy, numbing fingers. It has been just that. However, we've been staying on top of the fish. We've caught a bunch of fish this week. It's been a pretty decent bite despite the conditions and the weather and all that kind of stuff. We've seen some pretty good fishing. Water temps in the Twin Cities have been anywhere from, throughout the week, 42 to 49 is what I saw. There's some 50-degree stuff way back in the cuts and channels. Haven't really slammed fish in those spots yet, talking crappies. A lot of fish still main lake, weeds. That's where we've done the best for numbers and some size mixed in. And those temperatures, water temps, are looking at 45 to 48 degrees consistently this week. Now, I'm expecting this next week with temperatures in the 60s, and I think I might have saw 70. I'm not entirely sure. That's going to feel great. I can't wait. I'm going to really chase the crappies down this week and hopefully start to find some fish really migrating and moving up into those shallow cuts, shallow bays, boat docks, hopefully stick some bigger ones. Our largest fish this week in our boat was a 1.27 crappie. That fish probably goes 12 3/4, 13 inches, something like that. No giants yet this week. We've caught a lot of numbers. We've had multiple 100+ fish days. Great activity, great action, great for dinner. A lot of 9, 10, 11-inch fish, which is just fine, right? And we did well on fish here in Minnesota on Lake Minnetonka. We also did well on some fish, crappies over in Wisconsin. Similar patterns, similar conditions. Very uniform in terms of how we're targeting those fish. Now I'm just going to show you one setup because this right here has worked well, and I'll explain why I'm showing you just one. Rocket bobber, I'm about 4 feet down. I got my drop TG 1/32 ounce or one of Jack's hair jigs. He ties on these drop TGs. Wonderful setup, works exceptionally well. And the reason I said one setup is because I can take this off, throw my favorite plastic on there, whether it's a Sassy Sting'em from Mr. Twister, whether it's a Tri-Alive tube, and I can pitch this. I got 4-pound test monofilament. I can pitch this around. There are some fish that are sitting in that 10 to 15 foot range lately. We've seen some fluctuating water temps. Wake up in the morning, water temps drop 5 degrees. It's crazy. And these fish slide back, they push down, and that's where we might not be fishing with the float. But as we look at these fish, especially with the advent of forward-facing sonar, I can see these fish rise in the water column. I can see them schooling up. That's where I do the 4 foot down approach on a rocket bobber. I can cast this thing a country mile, and I'm paying attention to where those schools are, picking them off as they go. That can be sometimes a more efficient way. And in other situations, the bobber comes off, and I pitch just the 1/32 ounce tungsten drop TG jig head with my favorite plastic. That becomes the more efficient way of doing things in that situation. And this setup that I'm using here is actually a 7.6 light action, custom built Thorne spinning rod. I got a 1000 series Shimano on there. And again, I said 4-pound test line. Exceptionally well, cast these small jigs a country mile. That's kind of our receiving end of how we're catching these fish. Yesterday and Friday, in the cold conditions, these cold fronts, we did switch to Jack's JJ Fishing hair jigs. We were using 1/32 ounce, even 1/64 ounce light jigs, a little longer hair, really slow fall, and I've shown you that. No weight between the jig and the bobber, and let that thing just fall down. Patience game, let that fall down to the strike zone and pay attention to your float. That rocket bobber pops up or twitches and dances back and forth. That's oftentimes a bite. That fish comes up and they grab it. They don't grab it all the time and pull it down. Everyone's waiting for that bobber to go down. Sometimes that bobber sits and it's drifting. A fish bites and it flips the other direction. That oftentimes is your strike, and that's something you can really look at with the rocket bobber. It floats on its side. It doesn't just pop up and go down all the time. Of course, that's nice and convenient when you see those kind of strikes. A lot of times it'll twitch and bounce this way. You'll see it pop up and back. Those are fish. They're taking. A lot of times you can pull up the slack and set the hook and drive it home for those fish. But like I said, water temps are not quite 50. We are so close. You'll see some 50 in the very, very back cuts, but nothing consistent and just for a small window of time. I anticipate this week going to be a dynamite bite. We're going to see mid to upper 60s, even possibly 70-degree air temp, consistency at night, 40s and 50s for lows, which is important because it continues to warm that water all night long. And I'm super excited to really chase down crappies this week. We're going to get after them hard. I want to put a big fish in the boat. I haven't done it. Griff, Waldo, Shane, congratulations. You won the Memories Made Crappie tournament yesterday. Over 11 pounds for 10 crappies on Minnetonka. That, sorry, is straight up kicking butt. These guys are good. It's a three-peat. I got to see the fish they brought in. I was at Fletcher's when they brought them in after my guide trip on Saturday. They had a heck of a nice bag of fish. Well-deserved. Great job. Mike Farrell, Allie, you guys and gals did a phenomenal job putting on that tournament. I got to witness it firsthand this year for the first time. Got there before they started for my guide trip. Got my clients back to the dock before they did the weigh-in. Got to see what was going on. It's a very well-run operation. Mike, Allie, hats off to you. Kudos, great job. Anyone that wants to get into that tournament next year, I tell you what, you better do it. It's going to fill up, and it's going to be well-run once again. Nice job. Fun to watch. But this week, I'm chasing some fish. Going to chase some more crappies here in Minnesota, not going back to Wisconsin. I did mention earlier that we did go to Wisconsin this week for a day to chase bass. Caught some fish on some on mini stealth chatterbaits, the small profiled ones. I got one right here. This is actually the one I caught some fish on. It's going to be just, that's a white chartreuse, beef fish and tackle, or Big Bites trailer there. I like how that thing goes side to side. Small profile, 14-pound fluorocarbon, real painfully slow, almost like a crankbait approach. Caught him on that. We also caught him on all-terrain tackle finesse jigs. Drew Aspinwall put a whooping on him on this, but I was throwing a finesse jig from all-terrain. You know, again, 14-pound fluorocarbon, pitching slow. Water temps were in the mid-40s, really slowing down. We caught a bunch of fish doing that as well. So these boys are having a blast outside today, which is awesome. They should be enjoying it. So the bass were starting to bite a little bit too. It was super fun to really lean on some bigger fish. And remember, if you're in Wisconsin, it's catch and release bass season. You can legally target them. They have to go back in the water, but it is fun to take that hour-and-a-half drive east, switch gears from crappies, and catch a few bass. I know I had a blast doing that. Tom Hine even got a bonus walleye mixed in chasing crappies. So you never know what you're gonna catch. One guy today on our guide trip on one of the boats hooked a giant muskie on Minnetonka. Broke him off, didn't land it, but they are with all the other fish too. So this week, what am I gonna do? I'm chasing crappies. I'm gonna look for main lake stuff to start. I'm gonna look at that 5 to 10 foot range to start. I'm gonna look at where that milfoil and budding weeds are forming up in the shallow flats. I'm gonna meander around, look for fish, fan cast a ton until I find something that's productive. I'm gonna slide into some of the boat channels, boat harbors, boat docks, shallow bays, shallow flats, look for some of these fish as the water temps warm up, which they are going to, guaranteed 100% this week. We're gonna see a massive warm up with this warm weather coming. It's gonna turn these fish on. I saw a lot of fish today. Thousands of fish today on forward-facing sonar that just did not want to bite. They were schooled up, they were meandering, they're just sitting there. We get this spike in water temp, we see this warm conditions hit, we're gonna see those fish turn on, and I think this week's gonna be a banner week for anyone out there chasing down some fish, as well as into next weekend. So that's my prediction. I'm excited. I'm gonna be chasing them with the Drop TG plastic combo. I'm gonna chase them with the hair jig, probably throw some rocket bobbers. I'm gonna get my parents out fishing. It's my birthday this week. I'm super pumped up. I take them out every year. This is gonna be something special. I'm hoping the bite does what I think it will, and we're gonna put a bunch of fish in the boat. So get out there, have some fun, chase them down, be aggressive, make the most of it, and enjoy your time in the water. And don't be afraid to bring a few home. They taste wonderful. We had a fish fry on Friday night. It was marvelous. My son Jack cleaned the crappies for me after we went out and chased down some fish, and we cooked them up, and it was absolutely delicious from this cold water. So there you go. There's a weekly report. I'm excited for this week. It's going to be good. We're going to get out there. We're going to have a lot more fun. Hopefully you're out there catching some fish. Again, if you have any questions, have any feedback, fire away, post it down there, and I'll be happy to answer whatever and as many questions as I can. Good luck this week. Have some fun. Spring's here.